Hello and welcome to another dumbbell workout. This week we're going to work on unilateral movements. So what I mean by that is that's going to be one side or the other, so left side or right side. The best thing about dumbbells and why I like them a lot more than barbells is because you have to work each side independently. And so a lot of the times we counterbalance by doing, say, a shoulder press overhead together. But if you actually go one side and then the other, or do your reps all on one side and then do all your reps on the other, then it forces you to actually use your core and other muscles to stabilize a lot more. So it's a great way to change it up. So that's what we're going to get going on today. So let's get started with our warm up. So leg swings to start. Same warm up as always. Try and get everyone accustomed and into a routine here. And switch sides. And leg swings are probably my favorite thing to just get everything loose from the lower body to the upper body with the core. And let's get into our agility skaters. So getting some side to side movement. Don't do this very often, probably other than in this workout or if you're playing some sports. Get our heart rates going. And let's get on the ground. Iron cross. Right leg to left hand. Back down. Left leg to right hand. Just slowly loosen up here. Great. And let's get up. Do some butt kicks. So like always, we'll start with a march. Warm up our hamstrings and go into a jog. Just a little bit more dynamic here. And then if you're ready, let's go into the run. And arm circles, palms down. Rotate forward, making bigger and bigger circles until we get to full rotations, whatever that means to you. And palm up. Let's go in reverse. Same thing. Slowly get bigger and bigger until we get to full. And let's finish off with our punch combo. So jab, cross, hook. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Switch sides. Good. All right. So we're going to get right into our workout. So 3 rounds of each exercise. So we'll start with forward lunges. So we're going to do, I always do 10 reps. So we're going to start with one side. Do your reps, whatever reps you want to do. Lower reps for building strength, higher reps for building endurance. Step forward, stay tall, step back, balance yourself, switch when you're ready or done your reps. Since we're doing both sides for a lot of these exercises, we're not going to have a lot of rest today. So you might want to reduce your reps if you're struggling to keep up or finding yourself not getting the rest you need. All right, let's move into round 2. So step forward, stay tall, drop the knee down, step back. So you notice my knee just kind of hovers a few inches above the ground here. So for me, that's as flexible as my hip flexors are. So that's as deep as I'm going. Notice I'm trying to stay tall, try not to break through the upper body at all. And we're going to go into our last round of forward lunges, then we'll go right into renegade rows. So like I said, this is going to be a bit more high tempo than what we typically do here. So adjust your reps or adjust your weights appropriately. So we're going to go lower body to upper body, back to lower to upper. So give a little bit of a break in those body parts. And that's it. So renegade rows, you may need a mat for these. I'm going to try and do them without a mat. If you have ones that are circular like me, they're going to roll around a little bit. So you're going to have to really stabilize through your legs. So plank position, and then you're going to pull up and do your row on one side. And then when you're ready, you can switch and do the other side. And that one's a little bit quicker for me, so it gives me a little time to rest. So if you can't do it from the plank position, it's really struggling, or you find it hurts your wrists, then we're going to go from a modified position. So your knees cross over your feet, but you don't want to break through your hips, so you want a straight line through from your knees to your shoulders. So it's going to look like this. So out like that, nice and flat, and row from there. So see how my butt's pushing forward. And switching sides. A little bit tough on my knees not having the mat here, not gonna lie. But quite a bit easier on my core when I'm going from the modified position. Catch a bit of a rest before we go into round 3. And then we're going to go into single leg deadlifts, so another lower body. So we went lower, this one's upper, back to lower. So I'm going to go back to the normal, give you a side view though. So just pulling from there. Nice wide leg stance just to stabilize. Uses a lot of core strength to be able to do this. So it's not just a back exercise, you're doing a lot of core as well. And I know I don't focus on my core or the core muscles a lot in these dumbbell workouts, but this is a way to kind of work them out while focusing on other body parts. So single leg deadlifts are next. Adjust your weights if you need to. I'm going to use 2 dumbbells for these, just so you can see me staying stable here. So holding the dumbbells, I'll start with my left leg, so I'm going to hinge forward, then pull up. Hinge forward, pull up. So finding my rhythm here. And switching sides when you're ready. This one's a tough one to get a lot of rest in if you're doing a lot of reps. So you might have to shorten your rep range for this one. And quick break. So I'm going to show you a modification here. So if you're having trouble with the balance, what we're going to do is toe down and just hinge again. So the weight is completely on my front leg. The back leg, having that toe down, just there to support my balance. So trying to put as little weight as possible into that leg. Notice I'm still going for that nice flat back every time, making sure I flex my abs. So exhale on the pull up, pulling through my hamstrings, my glutes on my front leg. And I think I got one more. So again, just a little micro break. Then we'll do round 3, and then we're going to do floor presses. So I'm going to go back to the normal, non-modified for this last round. You should complete them however best you can. If that means modified, or if that means the harder version. You can tell as you get fatigued, like I am, the balance goes a bit. So you might want to just slow it down a little bit, like I'm trying to here. Reposition, and then get back into it. Okay, floor presses. Not a lot of rest here in between. Just need a single dumbbell here. So we're going to lie on the ground. I'm going to have one knee bent just for better back posture, holding the dumbbell in that one arm, and then you're just going to do a chest press from the floor. So you can do this off a bench if you have a bench available, but I know a lot of people don't, and they don't want to feel left out, so figured I'd do the floor presses, and then give the option to do it off a chest press off a bench if you want. What's nice about the floor presses is that it's not as big of a range of motion as a chest press. So if you have shoulder problems, especially flexibility problems in your shoulders, the floor presses are often a safer bet for you. Oh, and I'm slow. I gotta go right back into it. Trying to speed up my reps this time. I'm still not gonna have a lot of spare time here. Just keeping my wrist over top of my elbow at all times. A little bit of room to spare. And for round 3, I'm just going to show you side profile just so you can see it from the side. So I'm going to try and keep it over my chest at all times. Here, so get myself into position and then press, back down, press, back down. And just trying to find my pace here and my breathing. Next one, we're going to do Bulgarian split squat. So you will need a bench or a chair or a table for this one, and you're going to want to use lighter weights. So I'm going to just use a single dumbbell here, and fairly light. Have your toe up, hold in a goblet fashion. Then we're going to drop down and come back up. So when I drop down, if you notice, I'll actually go foot flat there. My shin and my torso stay parallel to one another. So that's how I know I'm doing it properly. And I got a little time to spare, so I'm going to grab a drink of water. So for Bulgarians, just like the lunges, your depth is really up to your flexibility. So for me, when I'm doing this is about the depth I can go. So I'm still a few inches away from the ground, but that's what I'm aiming for each time. Whew. That one's obviously a very tough one. Very full body. Really feel that in your leg flexors, hip flexors. And let's finish off our third round. So adjust your reps or your weight depending on your fatigue and how hard you want to push yourself. Some people are a glutton for punishment. Others don't really want to feel that soreness the next day. So if you feel like you're working yourself to that point and you don't want to get there, then just dial it back. Whew. So that's the only one where we're going to need the bench for. Next one, we're going to do alternating bicep curls. So for the bicep curls, we're going to go one at a time and just alternate which. So one side, opposite side, back and forth. Wait for each rep to be done before you start the next one. What's nice about alternating is it gives you a little bit of rest in between each rep. So you're not just completely overloading one side and then moving on to the next. And you may not even notice it, but you're also just shifting your weight a little bit, using your core a little bit differently as well. All right, let's move into round two. So really focus on your breathing. It's going to probably be pretty steady as we go through here. Try and keep yourself from overarching like that. Stay nice and soft through your knees and hips. Use your abs. Do a full range. Don't cheat yourself. Notice how my elbows aren't coming forward like this. They stay glued to my sides. Try and do the same. So that's really going to hit your biceps, going to hit your forearms as well. And then you're going to be using your core to just stabilize everything. So we're going to go into our third round here. And then we're going to do single leg calf raises. So last round of the bicep curls. So again, find your pace, and your breathing, but keep your form. Don't let your form break. If you have to take a micro break, shake out the arms, even put the dumbbells down for a split second, that's great. That's totally fine. Just push yourself as best you can. And down. When you're done, grab a quick drink. We'll move into our second last exercise. So single leg calf raises, we're just going to cross one leg over the other, have this elevated, and then we're going to go up onto our toes. So crossing over, up on our toes, back down. Try and balance the best you can. You can tell this one's a tough one for me, just to stabilize and balance. A lot of ankle problems over the years playing basketball and football. But if it's a hard one, that means it's probably a good one. So if you really just can't stabilize, you could just grab one heavy dumbbell, find a wall or something to lean against, and you can have your hand against that. But if you're able to, try and fight through it, even if every rep isn't perfect. I'd say I'm only getting 7 out of 10 reps perfect on my first round. Doing a little bit better here. But my right side is my problematic one. The one I'm on now. And we got one more round of the calf raises. I really like the single leg version of calf raises better than the double. It's a bit more functional. So, when we walk, when we run, we don't do the same action on each leg simultaneously. So you're on one leg, you have to have good balance and strength on each leg independently. Good job, everyone. Finish off strong. And then you're going to grab a dumbbell for your single leg or single arm raises, lateral raises. For these ones, you're going to need something fairly light. This one can be a tough one. So hand on your hip like this, dumbbell in one hand, come up, just pass parallel, back down. that. I have my hand on my hip so that I'm not doing any of that motion. So it just helps stabilize. And switch sides when you're ready. So just past shoulder height each time. Good job, everyone. Shake out your arms if you're done. We have 2 more rounds of this to go, and then we'll finish with our cool down. So let's get into position, hand on the hip. I'm going to try and do it laterally here, just so you can see that I'm not coming forward. I'm really coming straight to the side. That's super important. I see a lot of people cheat and come forward, go into kind of a 45-degree raise. Not quite an anterior raise, not quite a lateral raise. Or if you have shoulder problems, a lot of times, like I have some tightness on the left side here, so I want to go into this position so it feels a bit more comfortable. Quick shakeout, then we're into our final round. Ready, and start our final round. So maybe you can take your hand off your hip and really focus on stabilizing through your core. Don't let yourself do the little teapot maneuver. Try and keep my hand off my hip here. Although left side's a little tired here, so I'm going to put it back on just so I don't start cheating. And put your dumbbell away. You can grab your mat. And we'll finish with our cool down. So same as always, we'll start with the downward dog. So hands underneath your shoulders. Hike your hips up and back. Let's pump out the calves from all those single leg calf raises. Something we don't do a lot in our workouts here on Mondays, so I'll try and start to incorporate them a little bit more. So I think the balance is important there. And bring one leg forward, come into lizard. Feel the stretch through your hip flexor. Try and tighten your leg against your triceps. Through your cool down, big deep breaths. Let's slow the breathing down. Switch sides. And open up into world's greatest. Feel the stretch through your low back, mid back, even your upper back, the back of your shoulders. And let's switch sides. Open up. If you can, try and look to your ceiling. Try and push your hand behind you as much as you can. And let's go into pigeon. It's a 90 position, down in your elbows if you can. Feel this in your glutes on that front leg. And let's switch sides. And we'll go into cobra next. So hands underneath the shoulders. Let the hips slowly sink into the ground. Look up. Every time you exhale, just slowly let your hips sink into the ground a little bit more. Release that low back, posterior hip tightness. We all have too much of it. Into child's pose. And one more breath. And let's finish there. Great job on a good workout. Hope you enjoyed the unilateral exercises. They're great to add into your routine if you don't already. So take advantage of it, and I'll see you next time.